Welcome to this episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. I'm Mike Kinney, your host. Do me a big favor. Help us out on social media. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and all the other social media platforms. Let everybody know what's going on and everything going on in the world of car culture and all the venues that go with it. Today, really cool. We have Mr. Jeff Motley with us. He is Vice President of Communications at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You talk about a cool job. Yeah, we're going to be talking. This guy's got some history at the track, incredible amount of experience. And I think if you Google, you're going to realize this. Yeah, this is like one of the cooler jobs on the planet to have. Before we bring Jeff on, for viewers that may not have been to the Speedway, because candidly we're reaching all across the United States and beyond, we have a layout of this facility. We're going to pull up. Now, it's roughly, if I do my math, around 1,200 acres, 9 different racing venues, and you have opportunities to ride and even drive on the super speedway with your personal vehicles on occasions in the air, along with riding experience. They actually have a course inside of the super speedway. So to say this place is big, oh yeah. So you can go out there and just about any weekend, you're going to go have a great time in the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to bring Jeff on. He does a lot better job than I explaining all this. Jeff Motley, good morning, sir. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we are thrilled to have him. I'm looking at some of your notes. You've been out there since about 1999, so you've seen quite a few experiences. But I think they reconfigured the super speedway not too long after that and increased the banking as well, right, Jeff?
Yeah, we made some major changes to the super speedway racing surface between the 2006 NASCAR race and the 2007 NASCAR race. That's where we, like you said, we increased the banking all the way around the racetrack. We put the progressive banking into the turns, and we also recreated our infield. We built the Neon Garage, which is more of a fan interactive garage area. We built our new media center. This speedway has undergone a myriad of changes since I got here in 1999, not just the super speedway, but the rest of the property as well.
Absolutely. And real quick, I'm kind of looking at USC. You've done, say, college football correspondence for Fox Sports Net. You've had your own daily sports talk show. And check this out, viewers. If you haven't Googled Gone Racin, you got to do that. That's a Vegas Stats and Information Network. And your co-host is none other than Brendan Gaughan. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. Brendan and I came up with this idea to do 4 shows in late August, early September back in 2018 to really promote the first ever South Point 400 because, as you know, his family owns a South Point hotel. Yep. Well, the Musburger family, Brent and his nephew Brian, who owned VEASAN at the time, they kind of liked the show and said, hey, why don't you guys do this through the remainder of the playoffs? Back then, the South Point 400 was the first race of the playoffs. So Brent and I are like, okay, we'll do it for the rest of the year. So we really didn't think much more about it. And here comes late January, and we get a call from the producer, Rick Jaffe, and from Brian Musburger. And they're like, hey, you guys are going to do your show all year this year, right? And Brendan and I are kind of like, well, we hadn't really talked about it. We hadn't really thought about it. And here we are now 6 years later doing this show. We have a lot of fun doing it.
You do.
The folks at VEASAN and DraftKings have been great. We do it in the South Point studio over there. Right. We tape it every Thursday. I will say this. One hard thing about doing this thing is that we tape it on Thursday before qualifying and practice, and here we are giving our picks. I'd like to see qualifying sometime, but I don't want to be up on Sunday morning doing the show either. So
this is so I got to ask, what's your over and under on the picks? How's that going?
Well, it's really funny. Last year, Brendan was terrible. I won, and there's 3 of us who pick. I pick, Brendan picks, and our entire production team, we call them the pit crew, they pick.
Perfect.
Last year I did pretty well, but the pit crew won. Brendan was horrible. This year, Brendan is kicking all of our butts. So he said he just needed to get a year of the new car under his belt to start figuring out who to pick.
So now he's figured it out. Okay, viewers, obviously Jeff's got a whole bunch of experience. You heard me when I first came on. I guarantee you, especially if you go to Wikipedia and you type in very cool jobs that have something to do with motorsports, I think you're going to see Jeff's picture. Before we chat more, how about a little video? Because a lot of viewers have never had the chance to experience an event for NASCAR at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Check this one out. Hey, Rick, hit the play button, buddy.
Las Vegas, it doesn't get any better. It's time to push them cards to the table, put all the chips down, and go for it.
Well, if that doesn't get your blood going and heart beating, I'm not sure what would, Jeff. I've had the pleasure of being with you guys there, and there is nothing like the start of NASCAR.
Yeah, there's something about that. The drivers start your engines, and then seeing them take the green flag to start the race, and seeing the grandstands full of people, and those Thunderbirds flying over. I tell you, been doing this a long time. Still get chills a little bit when the Thunderbirds come screaming over, or when we start those engines up.
Absolutely correct. We got a few picks because that video is great, but it does go by rather quickly. So we got a few picks we can walk through. I love this one's come out. Bye-bye football. Hello NASCAR, because we didn't know we're getting ready for the season, right?
Yeah, we post that usually on Sunday night after the Super Bowl.
Perfect. I love it. And now, for the viewers, you saw a little clip of it. They have a hauler parade, and you guys are able to arrange that the haulers come right down the Las Vegas Boulevard, correct?
Yeah, we do that on Thursday night for our March event. We can't do it in the fall because of the timing when the haulers park, but we've been very fortunate that NASCAR will park the haulers at 7 p.m. on Thursday night. So we start the parade at 6 p.m. Down by the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, and just go north all the way to the Speedway, and we have a police escort, so it's kind of nice. And
another way for the fans to experience, for viewers, this is what it's like in the evening at the Super Speedway. The fireworks going on. Would that be the truck race? One of those events, I wonder?
Well, that should be the truck race because we don't run anything at night. The funny thing is those don't look like trucks sitting on pit road,
I know.
which is a little bit odd. That I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit, but yeah, this has to be the truck race. I guess if we zoomed in a little, we'd see that those look like trucks because that's the only one that we run at night.
That's what I was kind of thinking. And we got a couple more picks, I think, Rick, coming out of that stack. We'll see if any more came in with it. And so this is for the viewers. This is what it's like if you're part of that pit crew and you're out there on credentials. You're just right in the thick of it. And my hat is off to every member of the pit crew. Those guys, that's just what a tough job, right?
It's a tough job. I love this one because I love Ross's watermelon man pit board because everybody knows that Ross Chastain is a watermelon farmer by trade. So I think that's a very cool pit board. I don't think it's funny. I don't ever really get out there and get to see this part of it. So that's actually kind of cool. I don't think I'd ever noticed that before.
Yeah. That's such a great shot. And again, I want to thank everybody at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Jeff and your team helping us out, getting some great clips and some of the videos. Now there's a money shot, and just let's see, who is that? Logano looks like he's getting the checkered.
Yeah, the only problem is that's Phoenix Raceway. That's not even Las Vegas. So we're promoting another racetrack there.
Yeah, we're promoting another racetrack. Well, we grabbed what we found. And always the celebration is always a big deal. And for the viewers, there's ways and there's some activities where you can get up and close, personal, some of the awards ceremony. It's just part of that experience of a NASCAR.
Yeah, and looking at this one right here, this was back the second year that we ran the South Point 400. If you'll remember, the first year we ran it, it was early September, and it was like 100 and something degrees.
Yes, sir.
So we got NASCAR to allow us to move it and run it later. And this was nice. That might be that earlier picture we saw of cars on pit road. That was probably the end of a cup race. when we had started it much later in the day and ended it under the lights.
You're right. And for the viewers, I've actually had the pleasure to work with Jeff Motley and his team out there announcing, doing some of the NHRA, NASCAR stuff, just having fun together. And do me a favor. By the end of the show, you go, ooh, where can I learn more? Go check out their website and be all kinds of contact information. If you have not been to a NASCAR event, shame on you, get your tickets now. Okay, also, there's a lot of people, I say, okay, these guys turn left, they're doing about 200 mile an hour. Well, how about maybe over 300 mile an hour in less than 4 seconds? We call that NHRA. And now we do 4 wide at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Hey, Rick, I think we got a video of NHRA as well.
In a city that has a great history of loving a good scrap, that's exactly what we have on tap today. A 3-round schedule bout among the heaviest weights of NHRA camping girl drag racing.
I'm laughing because we went out this year and we shot a lot of the NHRA, the 4 wide for car stars and roll bars. And my videographer, Jeff, had never been near Top Fuel, much less 4 wide. I think he's almost recovered now.
Well, I hope you gave him some earplugs.
We did. And I think we almost had to get duct tape for his jaw to hold his mouth shut. He just stopped filming. He couldn't believe it. And then you get 4 wide.
And if he was down there near the track, I hope you told him not to wear white.
Not to wear white because you're going to throw it away. Because
you're going to have the rubber speckles all over you. You'll never get it out.
You'll never get it out. So for 4 wide, for the viewers, that's over 40,000 horsepower, about 44,000, I think, right? If I do the math right, when they hit all those loud pedals at the same time. And so, Jeff, I know you love your NASCAR, but I think you're kind of a bit of an NHRA guy as well, if I remember, especially Top Fuel.
Well, I think that when you're running the pros out there, that's pretty cool. Get all those pro categories out there. We do the 4 wide in the spring. We do 2 wide in the fall. That's in the playoffs for NHRA. The other thing is I really like a lot of those guys out there. I mean, some of those drivers, the men and the women that compete are some of the best. Not only are they great drivers, but they're great people, and they're so fan-friendly. And, boy, I could go on and on and on just about some of the competitors out there and how much they do to help us promote the sport.
Absolutely. And Jeff is the king of Segway. He mentioned fans. Well, we've got some pics of the fans as well we wanted to share with everybody, give you an idea of what that looks like. I think Rick's going to be able to grab those up for us momentarily. Well, before we go there, sorry. And so here's some of your NHRA. Obviously, this is Nitro Funny Car. They can go almost as fast as Top Fuel. The difference is they got a shorter wheelbase.
Yeah, when you see the power and the speed, whether it's Top Fuel or Funny Car, the cars they just look completely different, but they're certainly 2 of the most powerful automobiles in the world. That's a Top Fuel car. That's Brittany Force right there. She's been one of the best here in Las Vegas over the years, part of the legendary John Force racing family.
Absolutely. And there's 4 wide. And every time I'm near this, all I can do is grin. Because, again, about 44,000 horsepower. It shakes everything when they launch.
Yeah, I mean, if you're down there and you stand on the ground, now I think we have a pro stock car, so that's a little bit different. They're not quite as powerful there. They're probably running, I say not quite as powerful, they're probably still running about 210, 212 miles per hour, and they run a quarter of a mile. They don't run 1,000 feet like Top Funny Car. So, but it is. I mean, the ground does shake. I mean, it's a sensory overload when you're standing down there near the track. And I had the chance when I was on track. I got a chance to say howdy to Lee Beard, legendary tuner and crew chief from way back. He's now helping Cruise Pentagon. Lee and I'm talking, and he goes, "Yeah, so he's got his property up in Colorado, so he does a little fishing, a little snow skiing. On occasion, he comes out and helps Cruise. So he's enjoying semi-retirement." Good for him.
And again, very stand-up guy. And there's your Kodak moment. That's where you want to be if you're in the pro category, right, Jeff? You want to be on that podium.
You do, and looking up there, some amazing drivers right there. Antron Brown's had a lot of success here in Las Vegas, and Matt Hagan up there. He runs teammate of Tony Stewart, or I guess Tony's the boss. Tony running in Top Alcohol now, but Hagan, he's our I don't know what he's like, the Incredible Hulk, I guess.
Yes, he is. He's kind of a stout boy.
I don't think he has an ounce of body fat. Hagan's my buddy because he's from southwestern Virginia, like I am.
Perfect.
We're both big Virginia Tech Hokies, so
there you go.
Matt's my boy. I like him a lot.
And I've got some pictures of the fans. So we're talking about just the magnitude, the size of the super speedway. There is fans everywhere. This track's so big, there's actually a course inside the super speedway, right, Jeff?
Yeah, well, we've got a road course inside there that Dream Racing uses almost every day. You can kind of see in this picture, we got the little quarter mile right there in the tri-oval that kind of goes around the Pennzoil logo. We can run Legends cars there. We've done a few of those before. There's so many different racing venues across this property, but love this shot right here just to see the immense crowd, the crowds of 75 and 80,000 people now that come out to watch these NASCAR Cup Series races, and fans having a good time. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And now this, I think, is over in the Neon Garage area because, hey, for the viewers, there's all kinds of partying going on during the NASCAR weekend, including live entertainment.
Yes, we do. And the Neon Garage is great. We have a bandstand in there that does have a lot of live bands. We also do a lot of driver appearances. Here you see Joey Logano having done an appearance with Jose Castillo. Jose travels the circuit, does a lot of the on-screen stuff for the big screens, the NASCAR Vision things, and Jose does a lot of emceeing events for me. So a couple of good guys right there.
I've had the pleasure of being on stage with Jose before. Fun guy. There's a shot. Wow.
Yeah. So Kyle, So that's not in Vegas right there.
Real. Okay.
I don't know where that looks like. That's taken at Richmond maybe or somewhere, but that's definitely not in Vegas because Kyle has only won one Cup race here. It was back in 2009. It was not at night, and he didn't go in the stand. So I'm looking at that grandstand there. It looks a little bit like Richmond, but I'm not sure. That's not a Vegas photo right there.
Well, it's a great picture anyway.
Well, let me tell you a story behind this picture right here, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So Joey Logano, and you can kind of see he's getting back in his car on the track to drive his car into victory lane. Joey he won the race, and he gave his flag to this young fan that came down to the fence. Well, the dad and the young boy came down to victory lane. We got him down there, and Joey autographed that flag for him and took pictures with the kid in victory lane. It was a really, really cool scene, and it was awesome that we were able to get him down there, and that Joey took the time out for this kid. So I was pretty impressed with that.
Well, I can mention the drivers and their commitment to helping the fans and being personable is just amazing, and just continues to get better. I think we got a few more picks. And so here we go. So now we're at the strip of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's our quarter mile of going straight. You don't have to worry about turning left till you get to the big end of the track. And once again, big crowd.
Yeah, NHRA does bring out the big crowds, whether it's the 4 wide or the 2 wide, which I think brings out 2 completely different sets of fans. Here you see one thing we get to do every Sunday of NHRA before we start racing. The fans get to walk the track. They walk down almost to the quarter mile, about to the 1,000-foot mark, and they turn around and come back.
And it's, I've talked to some of the fans that come back and says, the track's kind of sticky. And I said, well, yeah.
Well, yeah, right, especially right around the starting line. The amount of VHT that gets applied there so that the tires can grip better is pretty remarkable. And here's one of the great things about NHRA. Well, the photo before that kind of shows the fans in the pits. We kind of have a mantra that every ticket is a pit pass.
Absolutely.
So you kind of see that there. And in the next photo, you'll see the drivers signing autographs, which in the NHRA world, they do a lot. This is probably a Toyota autograph session. I see Antron Brown in the foreground. I see Ron Capps.
Cappy's there.
This little kid's shirt there. So I see J.R. Todd sitting to the right of Ron Capps there.
Yeah.
Alexis Peoria is down there beside a JR. So, yeah, this is definitely a Toyota-based autograph session right
Hey,
here.
Rick, if you could back up one picture, the one that showed the big crowd between the haulers. If you can step back to that picture real quick. One thing we want to point out to our viewers, see so for the viewers, that looks like tire smoke. That is probably nitro as they're firing up the top fuel, whether it's nitro funny car or top fuel. So when you're close to the end of those haulers and they start them up, Jeff, you can help us. I tell all the fans, I said, you can't really hear, see, or breathe for about a minute. So it's kind of cool.
No, not to mention the burning of your nose and your eyes and everything else. So let me tell you, when I see that they're warming up an engine, I get as far away as possible.
Oh, really? You want nothing to do with it?
I want nothing to do. Mike, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've had my nose burned, my eyes burned. I don't need that anymore.
I love it. I think we got a couple more pics of kind of up close. And again, with these drivers, they go out of their way to spend time with the kids.
Yeah, they do. And I think that's one of the great things about all these guys, that they're able to get out there and spend a little time and make them new fans. John Force, I mean, man of the people right there, buddy. When it comes to legends in any sport, John Force in drag racing is as big as Babe Ruth was in baseball, or Wayne Gretzky was in hockey. You know, this guy is he is like no other.
There's like no other. And it's interesting you mentioned that too, Jeff, because I've had the pleasure. We had Chris King on. We've had Antron Brown on. I talked to other pro drivers, and one of their universal topics they want to talk about is how John Force goes out of his way to help them with their career.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the way John's been. You know, John, he wants to see this. Look, he loves this sport. He eats it, sleeps it, breathes it. And he knows that I don't know how much longer John's going to be around. John says he's in no hurry to retire. He's in his 70s. He's still getting it done. He made the finals here in Vegas. He made the finals in Charlotte last week.
He did.
So, but John wants to see this sport continue to thrive, and not just for his daughter or for Austin Prock or Robert Height. He wants to see it thrive for everybody.
Exactly. Before we got some other pics and videos coming up. Before we go there, because this is Car Stars and Roll Bars. So, okay, with Jeff Motley viewers, I got to frame this question. To date, what's your favorite automotive memory? I'm sorry.
I don't know what we count as an automotive memory. I mean, I remember as a little kid being, 6, 7 years old, going to races with my dad at Martinsville Speedway when I was a little kid. And I remember watching this a Canadian driver, Earl Ross, win in an R&D car that Junior Johnson had put together as a teammate of Cale Yarborough, probably around 1974, 1975, somewhere around in there. But as a kid, just going to Martinsville, and whether it was going to the NASCAR race and seeing Richard Petty and David Pearson and Buddy Baker and Benny Parsons and Cale Yarborough and Bobby Allison and those guys racer. For me, I used to love going to see the modified races. And modifieds, my favorite race car driver in the NASCAR was David Pearson, and in the modifieds was Richie Evans. So going out and watching those guys, Richie Evans and Jerry Cook and Bug Stevens and the Bouchard brothers and Jeff Bodine, and we had local guys in the Martinsville area, guys like Paul Radford, that's Worley, that were fun to watch. So I just became a big fan of racing in general. I guess that's mine, is just the mid 70s when I was a little kid going to Martinsville.
Okay, so one more question for you, and it may be a little easier. What's your favorite automobile?
When I say favorite automobile, I would say favorite automobile that I've ever owned. In high school and the beginning of when I was in college, I had a 68 Mustang that my father and my grandfather and I basically worked on it and restored it. I did love that car. I still own a 65 Mustang that is actually garaged in Virginia.
Really?
It is a car that my grandfather bought brand new as a gift to my mother to drive to high school. So it was my mom's first ever car. It was a 65 Mustang. She was a junior in high school. And when my parents both passed away, the car was passed down to me. It'll stay in our family forever. Whenever I'm gone, my nephews will have the car. But that 65 has a special place in my heart too.
Absolutely. That is a great memory, and that's going to be a great thing to have. Like you say, you pass it down through generations. Look in my notes. By the way, viewers, there's other tracks at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We got a couple of pictures of the bull ring, and help us here, Jeff, because that's where a lot of the current NASCAR drivers, a lot of them cut their teeth there, I think, including the Busch brothers, right?
Yeah, a little 3/8 mile paved oval. It's gone through several names and some transitions. Back in the days before the big track was built, it was the Las Vegas Speedrome. It was Las Vegas Raceway Park. And then in 2000, we flip-flopped the start-finish line and then built a new grandstand in 2001 so that the fans weren't staring straight into the sun. But you're right. I mean, this track has really produced a number of drivers. You talked about the Busch brothers, but even also currently racing, we've got Noah Gragson, we got Riley Herbst who came through there. Before them, you had Spencer Gallagher who came through there. Dylan Kwasniewski spent some time racing for Ganassi, actually won a pole at Daytona for an Xfinity Series race. So there's been a number of drivers that have come through there. And one guy that, you don't talk about a whole lot who came through the bull ring, it was last year's Truck Series champion Zane Smith, because Zane is not from Las Vegas, but Zane would come over from Southern California and race with us about every Saturday night.
Wow,
in fact, there was a lot of times in Legends cars, you had Zane Smith, Noah Gragson, and Riley Herbst all racing together out there.
I love it. And for the viewers, they have all types of great pricing packages to go to the bull ring. It can just be a great Saturday night with the family, and you get to see some very cool racing.
Yeah, I can tell you, racing, coming to the bull ring, everything is cheaper than going to the movies. You can probably get a race ticket, a hot dog, and a Coke cheaper than buying your movie ticket. You still haven't bought your popcorn and your drink when you go to the movies. So I agree. It is a great, great form of family entertainment. Here we actually get to see the World of Outlaws. We race them on the dirt track. We haven't had the Outlaws in a while. So this photo obviously goes back. We can't really run the dirt track a lot. I mean, maintaining a dirt track in the desert in a place like Vegas
it's tough.
Is not very easy. And, we tried to run an ARCA race on it, and it was really kind of a dust bowl a few years ago. If we're going to run there, we really have to do it in from November to March, maybe, just because of the weather.
Yep. I know I was up there with one of them helping announce one of at the dirt track. Tony Stewart comes up, and it's everything we could do to get him from. He wanted to go down and get in a car. He was just so excited. Then he's to help him do commentary. Then we couldn't get him out with the microphone. So it's just that whole facility out there is just amazing. We're going to segue into something else, and I know it's very important to the owner, Bruton Smith, and obviously everybody here in Las Vegas. The Motor Speedway and the Super Speedway is Speedway Children's Charities. And the viewers, when you go to almost any event at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you're going to see this logo. Now, we've got a video, and what this does, this group generates funds. In this case, they say almost all of them stay in Southern Nevada, and they have a grant ceremony to help all these worthy charities throughout Southern Nevada. We've got a little quick video, so kind of get your Kleenex ready. Hey, Rick, hit that play button, buddy. I've had the pleasure of being around Speedway Children's Charities. I served on the board of directors years ago, and I've been at the distribution ceremony, and Jeff, I'm sure you'll agree, that is just a magic evening.
No, it really is, Mike, and all the events that we do throughout the year to get to that point. But, we've given, millions and millions, not tens of millions of dollars to charitable organizations that benefit children here in the Las Vegas Valley over the years. And we started this chapter when Speedway Motorsports purchased the track back in late '98. I think the first event we ever did was a driver auction down at the old 777 brew pub in the Main Street station. all the way. This was in like a March of '99. I think that was our first event we did. And it's been amazing to be able to do this. I remember the first year we ever did the grant ceremony. We actually did it in the lobby of the administration building because we only had about, 40, 50 kids that came and didn't have that many charities because we were 1 year in and just kind of started raising money. And now we're able to go into the media center and the large drivers meeting room and have more than 300 kids. And, we're giving money to anywhere from 65 to 75 different organizations, close to $500,000 a year that's being given out. So it's just amazing to see the growth of Speedway Children's Charities.
And it's a reflection. Everybody in the organization out there, you and your team, you saw Chris Powell up there, welcoming everybody. And for the viewers, you saw Santa, and so all the kids are there. And naturally, everybody's going to get a gift that evening. Here's a little kind of tearjerker for you, because again, I've been part of this before and actually been one of their auctioneers for the live auction. A lot of times, that's the only gift that child gets for the holiday.
Yeah, and that's it's heartbreaking and it's heartwarming.
Yes,
it's heartwarming to know that they are going to leave there with a gift. It's heartbreaking to think that may be the only gift that they get. I'm very emotional about that. I have a great passion for that. We are so fortunate. We've got a director here in Paulette Anderson who has an unbelievable amount of passion for what she does, and she's very territorial about the charity, and she will fight for her piece of the pie, and I appreciate that.
And I've got adopted by Paulette. I'm kind of her go-to guy now to be MC live auctioneer. I said, girlfriend, count me in. I'm hooked all the way. I think we've got some contact information for the viewers. So Jeff, you can walk us through that quickly. And that way people know how to find out more at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, well, most of our information there you can see on our website at lvms.com.
Perfect.
And then our social media. We are very, very active on social media, especially on our Facebook and our Twitter and our Instagram.
Perfect.
And just a little bit of a shout out to Grant Gottschalk, who's our videographer. He probably put together most of those videos you played. And when you go to YouTube and see some of these hype videos, Grant has probably done most of those. He does an amazing job.
Yes, he does. Well, Jeff, brother, I can't thank you enough for the viewers. I knew Jeff when he was clean shaven. I think I had black hair when we first started running together.
I don't know about your black hair, but this was a COVID beard, and everybody told me that I looked younger with it. So I said, well, I'll keep it for a while because it hasn't started turning gray yet. I've gotten really, really lucky, Mike. The gray gene has not found me yet quite like it did you.
Yeah. Well, I'll be glad to share some of mine, brother. Jeff, we can't thank you enough. I know you're a really busy guy. There's always events at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Until we talk next time, man, God bless and thank you for everything. Have a good day.
Thank you for having me.
Wow. So viewers, do me a favor. You got to go to LVMS.com, check out everything they got coming up. You got to check out what's going on at Speedway Children's Charities, and make sure to subscribe, like, and share to our YouTube channel and other social media. Until next time, enjoy the ride.